Hey guys, how's it going? Killa Camp video. In today's video, I have an awesome guide for you guys. It's going to be a 7.3 Enhancement Shaman guide for Battlegrounds and Rated Battlegrounds, something that we really do enjoy doing. Now, there are actually going to be two spec variations, and the primary reason for this is just going to be because, of course, Battlegrounds are different. We have Battlegrounds that are going to be tailored more towards base, capturing bases, and then we have ones that are going to be more tailored towards just killing someone as fast as possible and getting the flag returned or getting the orb returned. Now, the specs are going to, of course, be tailored towards those respectively. And I also wanted to give you guys a quick update on why I haven't been posting that much. Unfortunately, shit happens in your life, man. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I actually do live in Florida, and we got hit by hurricanes. So that sucked. But then I got in a freaking car accident. I haven't been able to work out for the past month, but the doctor actually recently did clear me. So I'm back. I'm allowed to work out again at 20%. So you guys can expect to see more live streams and gym streams. Now let's get into it. Now, I actually decided to start things off with the honor talent tree because, for the most part, your honor talents are going to stay relatively the same as opposed to your actual talents. Those will change depending on which battlegrounds you're in. So, for honor talents, you can choose Relentless or Gladiator's Medallion. I honestly do recommend Relentless, especially if you're an Orc. That's going to be the best thing for you. Orc, Relentless, BGs, yes, win. Going on to the next tier, we have Reinforced Armor and Sparring. Now, if the team that you're going up against is melee heavy, you're primarily going to want to be in Sparring, of course, but if they're using mostly casters, then Reinforced Armor is going to be the best line of defense against that. Then going down, we have Counter-Strike Totem or Wind Fury Totem. Now, in BGs and Rated Battlegrounds, most people do not, they just don't care about Counter-Strike. They're just like run in there and they pop burst. So Counter-Strike Totem most often will win. So yeah, definitely choose to spec in a Counter-Strike. Then going on to the next tier, we have Spectral Recovery and Purifying Waters. Now, I actually really do like Purifying Waters here because there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to do offensive dispels, and you being able to get a 3% heal off of each purge is going to be extremely useful in just, again, keeping you up and making sure that you can actually stay offensive. Now, Spectral Recovery is like because it gives you the 10% additional movement speed, which definitely does come in handy, but at the same time, if you're doing damage, you're not in Ghostwell form. So it's like, I'd much rather stay offensive with Purifying Waters, you get what I'm saying? Now, moving on to the next tier, we have Static Cling, Forked Lightning, and Ride the Lightning. I actually really do prefer Ride the Lightning here. Static Cling is good, but the problem is whenever you switch to whenever you're switching targets, which you do a lot of in BGs and Rated Battlegrounds, it sucks. It's like you want to, it forces you to pretty much form a bond of commitment on the target that you're on. And it's like, if that target gets bopped, it's like, oh God, damn it. Like, so with Ride the Lightning, you're just able to like quickly shift between targets, which I think is just gonna be more effective for you and your team. Now, moving on to the next tier, we have one thing. We have one thing, and that is Bloodlust. That is Shamanism. So we are speccing into Shamanism. Now, this is where it actually is going to get a little bit more complicated, and we're going to go into talents. All right. So for flag carrying maps and orb carrying maps, that's going to be Twin Peaks, Warsong Gulch, and Temple. This is going to be the best spec, all right? Let's run through it. So we have Landslide, Feral Lunge, of course, because that is our only closer. Please give us something else, Blizzard. Then we also have Lightning Surge Totem and Earth Grab Totem. Now, in 1v1 situations in regular Battlegrounds, I actually really do like having Earth Grab Totem, but unfortunately, in Rated Battlegrounds, we're normally going to be running with a lot of casters, so you have Shadow Priests, Warlocks, things like that. Earth Grab Totem will just break like instantly, so I actually do prefer just having that Lightning Surge Totem, alright? And then of course we have Ancestral Swiftness or Hailstrom. Hailstrom is actually really good against high armor target because of course it can bypass that armor, which is great, but I do prefer being in Ancestral Swiftness. That's just personal preference. And then we also do have Tempest and Overcharge. Now, in BGs, I really do like Overcharge because the main struggle for Enhancement Shaman is going to be just having uptime on the target, and having Overcharge, you are just able to one-shot people from, of course, like 30, 40 yards away. It is insane. Definitely do recommend you run Overcharge, and again, going up against FCs, once the stacks get up, you're hitting them for like 3 million. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Definitely do recommend you guys use Overcharge on FC and orb carrying maps. Then we also do have Sundering, Fury of Air, and Crashing Storm. And Sundering is actually going to win out, in my opinion, just because you can hit him with a Sundering and then follow that up with dropping your Lightning Surge Totem. Well, you do it like right after the other, and that's going to be a 7-second stun, so that's easy. You're easily able to kill an FC in that. And then going down into the last one, we have Boulder Fist and Earthen Spike. Now with Earthen Spike, it's really great, but again, it does force you to commit to specific targets, very similar to Static Cling. So the only time I don't really like being spec'd in Earthen Spike is when I have to pick off targets before I actually get to the FC. Once I get to the FC, like, Earthen Spike is amazing to have. You are getting, again, like 3 million crits on the FC with this, with Overcharge, alright? But just to be more versatile in the BG, I definitely do recommend you use Boulder Fist, because that way you're able to, like, just pretty much go on any target. You don't really have to, like, commit to any specific target because, you know, your talent choices, like, force you to commit. With Boulder Fist, if someone pops Pain Suppression, it's like, okay, whatever, I'll just hit the next target. Then with Earthen Spike, it's like, shit, Earthen Spike's on you, bro. You popped Pain Suppression, really? So that's the main difference there. And this is actually going to be, I actually have some clips showing you what it actually looks like. So let's get into those clips.
Red orb picked up.
Better be the one to be the bully. I'm a winner, but I better kind of better man. They want to resent and they don't want to let us in the competition, so I gotta kill him with the pen. I don't think you motherfucker, but to get it, I be coming up in the game who really want to kill that. I don't think I ever come to rock and said it. I be coming up in the game who really want to grill cat. Motherfucker want to holler with a verse up in the remedy. I'm coming like I never be anonymous. Anybody hold up on an animal, the sun is like a teeter on the snap at any minute. Got a dribble on a better man, and every single veteran is getting so offended. I don't really give a damn. Not finna be getting, we're going to get sick and murderable. Murder you in the convertible, sitting vertical. Yeah. My brain's too nuts, and I stack head butts and attack red bloods, and they crack in butts, and he back with lots of butts, and he backs just like some dots on a young kid.
Massacre. Ultra kill.
Alright, so now we're going to shift into a spec that does a lot more cleave damage, and it's really going to excel whenever you're in a battleground that deals with bases. So things like Arachi Basin, Eye of a Storm, Battle of Gilneas. And the primary reason for this is just going to be because everyone has a centralized focus. And with that, everyone's just going in one particular area. So what that allows you to do is pretty much just be able to cleave them all down. And we're also going to be speccing out certain talents that pretty much cater to more of us like playing like a catch-up mechanic as a shaman, where we're like, oh man, they're out of range. Let me do this kind of thing. You already know what I'm talking about. So let's actually get into it now. So first off, we're going to be taking Landslide, definitely Landslide, and we're not going to be taking Hana, and I'll explain this later. Then we're going to, of course, take Fair Lunge. The beginning talents still stay the same. Lightning Surge Totem, we're still taking that. We're going to definitely take Ancestral Swiftness, because that haste is going to decrease the cooldown on our Storm Strike and other key abilities that we're going to be using. So not Hailstrom, definitely don't take Hailstrom. And then we're going to spec out of Overcharge and take Tempest. Now, normally I always do like to use Overcharge, but with this build, it's actually just really counterproductive. Then we're going to also shift from Sundering into Fury of Air. And the reason we're taking Fury of Air is because it's going to cleave like hell, and it's also going to be a great slow because we're going to have a lot of people coming in on us because we're going to be positioned on the actual base. And while Fury of Air is actually up, no one can capture a flag. So if they're trying to capture the base, as long as you're positioned around that base, no one will be able to capture it. And you're also slowing them, so that means even if they run in, they're going to be pretty much like, they're going to have a nightmare trying to get away from you, essentially. And then we're going to, of course, take Boulder Fist. Now, the reason we're not taking Earthen Spike and Overcharge is because if you pay attention, they both are huge Maelstrom dumps. Overcharge will cost 40 Maelstrom, Earthen Spike will cost 20 Maelstrom. With Fury of Air, it's really, really difficult to actually keep your Maelstrom up. So being spec'd in Boulder Fist, because it also does reduce the recharge time on your Rockbiter, means you're going to have a lot more Maelstrom in the first place, and you're also doing more damage with Boulder Fist. And that paired with Landslide, you're actually doing pretty significant damage with Boulder Fist in itself. Like you'll be able to get like 300k crits with Boulder Fist. It's actually pretty strong. And now we're also speccing in the Tempest because we already know that people are coming in on us, right? Like we don't need to play the like, oh, let me shoot you from there, because they're coming to us. They're coming to us. So all we have to do is just cleave them down. Now this spec is a lot of fun and you do so much damage. Like you should easily be able to do like 1,000,000 plus sustained DPS. It's really powerful, guys. I actually do have some clips showcasing this, so let's get into those. Alright guys, so now I'm actually going to demonstrate the rotation and burst macros that I use for each spec. I'm going to be first starting things off with the Cleave spec. Now some key things to note with this spec, you're definitely always going to want to use Rockbiter whenever it's available. Otherwise you will be Maelstrom starved because again, Fury of Air really does just sap up all of your Maelstrom, alright? So first thing you're going to do is of course use both of your Rockbiters. Then you're of course going to want to use Flame Tongue and then Frostbrand weapon. You want to always maintain these buffs, alright? And of course your landslide, which will be easy because you will be spamming Rockbiter whenever it's available. And after you have everything up, that's when you're going to want to activate Fury of Air and then Crash Lightning. Now I think where a lot of enhancement shamans mess up a little bit is going to be when they should prioritize Crash Lightning over Lava Lash. Because if they're going to be like, let's say there are 5 targets in front of you, are you going to be using Lava Lash or are you going to use Crash Lightning? You're of course going to use Crash Lightning, but you're also going to want to use Crash Lightning literally whenever it's available because at that point, it's going to do a lot more damage than Lava Lash. Like, just look at it. Lava Lash deals 395,000 fire damage. Crash Lightning on one target does 160,000 damage. So if they're 160,000 times like 4 or even times 3, you're going to do a lot more damage if you're using Crash Lightning on CD than like spamming Lava Lash and just like wasting your Maelstrom, you know? So again, Rockbiter, get your buffs up. Once your buffs are up, then you're going to activate Fury of Air and then use Crash Lightning, all right? And you're going to want to always maintain Fury of Air, so you want to use Rockbiter whenever it's available. And then at that point, you're just going to be spamming Tempest. And again, make sure you're always using that Rockbiter. And that is pretty much that for the Cleave spec. Now let's shift things over into the single target spec build. Honestly, one of my favorites. Now, more or less, it's actually going to be this exact same thing as a Cleave spec, except the variation is going to be that, of course, you're spec'd in Overcharge. Now, some key things to note, you're only going to want to actually use Lightning Bolt whenever you have above 60 Maelstrom or so. And the main reason for this is going to be in the event that you actually do land a Lightning Bolt and then you get a Stormbringer proc. If you actually don't wait until you have above 60 Maelstrom, what ends up happening is that you actually be deprived of Maelstrom, and then you won't be able to follow that up directly with a Storm Strike, which will just pretty much like be shit DPS. It's a lot better for you to always have a big Lightning Bolt and then follow that up directly with a Storm Strike. That is just insane damage. That's literally, if the Lightning Bolt crits, it's like 3 million damage, just like that. It can be really powerful. So in order to ensure the likeliness of that happening, it's always better to just use Overcharge whenever you have above 60 Maelstrom, alright? So let's demonstrate real quick. I'm going to use Rockbiter, then of course use Flame Tongue, get Frostbrand up, and then we're going to use Crash Lightning. And once we get above 60 Maelstrom, we have all our buffs up, then we're using Lightning Bolt just like that. And only at above 70 Maelstrom or so, that's when we're actually going to be able to get Lava Lashes in. So when you're spec'd in Overcharge, of course, you're going to be getting a lot less Lava Lashes, but I mean, it's so much better in my opinion. And the burst is just insane. Now I'm actually going to show you guys the burst macros for each of these specs. Alright guys, bursting, that's what it's really all about, more or less. And this is actually the burst macro that I recommend to you guys use as well, because it makes it so you're not selfish with your Bloodlust. So allow me to actually elaborate. Now, shamanism, what it does allow you to buff another one of your teammate with Bloodlust as well, but unfortunately, it doesn't do it automatically, which is good. It allows you to, of course, choose a target. But if you don't have a target chosen, it pretty much just goes lost. Like, it doesn't buff anyone else by default or anything like that, which does kind of suck. But actually, it 100% sucks. So a lot of times, shamans will just pretty much use Bloodlust on themselves, and with this macro, it's pretty much going to prevent you from doing that. Now, let me actually pull up the macro for you. Oh. Anyways, so this macro is actually going to be a mouse over macro. Now, the mouse over macro, I primarily use this one for regular Battlegrounds as opposed to rated Battlegrounds. Because with regular Battlegrounds, there are a lot of people that in Verity just really don't know. But what it does allow you to do is, like, let's say you see, okay, you're trying to kill a healer, and oh my god, someone else is actually helping you, and he's right beside you. All you have to do is just like put your mouse over them, or of course you can use the nameplates. As long as you mouse over it, it will also give them the Bloodlust buff, and next thing you know, boom, 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 healer is dead. Now with RBGs, because it's just going to be a little bit more structured, I actually do prefer using this macro. And with this macro, it's actually going to be target specific. So all you have to do is just put in the name of the target that you want to actually give the Bloodlust effect to, and it will always give the effect to them. Now, with this, it's actually really powerful because it's also never going to activate Bloodlust if the target is out of range from you or if they're LOS. So it ensures that Bloodlust will only activate if the two of you guys get the buff, which is really powerful. This is also the one I use in arenas. And that is that. Now let's actually burst. I actually ended up running into another enhancement shaman, Baku no burst, and he's like, I want to be in your video. So he's actually going to be bursting with me in this video. It's pretty freaking awesome. Now, some key things to note: when you actually burst as an enhancement shaman, you're going to want to make sure you pop your feral wolves before you actually burst. All right, so getting straight into it, gonna pop my wolves, then I'm actually gonna run up, of course do my double rock biter, then get my buff up, and then after that, that's when I'm actually gonna activate my burst, and of course use lightning bolt whenever I get above 70 maelstrom. And yeah, he already knows, do you even freaking lift? And that's pretty much all that you're going to be doing. And once you have above 70 maelstrom, then you're just going to be using lava lash, and you use lightning bolt whenever you have above 60. All right, and that's pretty much it. There you go, and thank you Baku no burst for participating in the burst macro. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to thumbs it up, and of course subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more awesome content planned. I will also be doing a lot more fitness related videos, so be on the lookout for that. And big shout out to my Patreon supporters, like down in the corner. You guys really are freaking amazing. And a really big shout out and more of like a special wishes to Leigh Rogers. He actually broke his leg. He's one of my longest Patreon supporters, so be sure to send your best wishes to him. And other than that, guys, have a good one, and really do appreciate you guys clicking this video and yeah, watching the whole thing. That's really, really awesome.